Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Saira Zaman Khan, and as part of our practice, today we will attempt May June 2020 paper 1. It's an MCQ paper and the duration is 1 hour 15 minutes. We have to attempt 35 questions on this paper and we are provided with 4 possible answers A, B, C, and D, out of which we have to choose the one which we consider is correct. Looking at number 1, which are examples of bookkeeping. At this point, student must know the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. Bookkeeping is about recording transaction on daily basis, whereas accounting is using the same data which has been recorded as part of bookkeeping for preparation of financial statements and further procedure such as interpretation of accounts. So, option number 1, entering details of a check received from a customer in a cash book. Yes, because we are recording it in a book of prime entry. Entering detail of goods purchased on a credit in purchases journal. That's also part of bookkeeping. Producing an income statement to calculate the profit for the year. Preparation of financial statement is part of accounting. So number 3 is accounting, not example of bookkeeping. Number 4, recording detail of credit sales in the account of a credit customer. Again, part of recording. So this belongs to bookkeeping. So correct options are 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4 as a combination are present in option B. So option B is the correct answer. For number 2, how does a trader use the information provided by financial statements? You must know different stakeholders and how they use accounting information for various purposes according to their own need. The owner of the business would like to look at the accounting information, of course, to see whether the prime objective of profit maximization is being met or not, and the overall performance of the business, the growth of the business for decision making purpose also. So A, to calculate the amount of cash drawings taken, no. To calculate the amount that is owed by trade receivable, no, because all these information are already present in different accounts. To check the balance shown on bank statement, no. To compare the business performance over a number of years. So D is the correct answer. Number 3 is related to accounting equation. A trader bought new fixture. He paid half of the purchase price in cash and agreed to pay the balance in 2 months. How does this purchase affect the accounting equation? Now, for this, we must see that we are buying a fixture, which is actually our asset, but we are paying only half of the price in cash. So let's say if fixture is increasing by 10,000, we are paying only 5,000. So cash is decreasing by 5,000. So overall, 10,000 increase and 5,000 decrease means that it's 5,000 increase overall in assets. Then we agree to pay the balance in 2 months. So 5,000 which we have not paid yet is a liability. So a liability is increasing by 5,000. It has no effect on owner's equity. So the correct option where assets are increasing and liabilities also increasing and there is no effect on owner's capital. This is option D. Increase, no effect and increase. Number 4 is on 2nd April, Nina received a check from Zafar, a credit customer. On 12th April, the check was returned unpaid by the bank. What entry would Nina make on 12th April? At this point, remember that you are Nina, the business. So when you receive the check in the first place on 2nd April, you debited bank and you credited Zafar accounts receivable. When the same check is returned unpaid, so you need to reverse the entry now. So you will credit bank and you will debit Zafar. The correct option is option D. The mistake which majority of the students make here is that they treat it as irrecoverable debt. Please remember, irrecoverable debt is only when the question is clearly telling you that the debt is written off. Unpaid check is only credit bank and debit accounts receivable. Number 5 is N is a trader. On 1st April, Cindy's account in N ledger showed a credit balance of 520. The following transaction took place during April. April 2nd, N returned goods 30 to Cindy, 14, N bought goods 210 from Cindy and paid in cash. Which statement about the balance on Cindy's account in N's ledger on 30th April is correct? Now, to attempt such an MCQ, my strongest recommendation is to do it with the help of a T account. Draw a rough T account and place the transactions accordingly, and you will have the correct answer. So, looking at this one as the opening balance, you are N in this question. Cindy's account has credit balance. So, Cindy is your account payable. 520 you write on the credit side very quickly. Second transaction April 2nd and return. So you are returning goods worth 30 to Cindy. For you it's purchases return. So purchases return will be credited and Cindy's account will be debited with this, right? You bought goods 210 from Cindy and paid in cash. Now this is the catch point in this question. When you are paying in cash, remember it is a cash transaction and it will not be entered in accounts payable. So you leave that transaction, you quickly balance the account 30 on the debit side and 520 on the credit side. So balancing figure is required on the debit side, means that this account has credit balance. You know that we name the balance after the heavier side. So this account has credit balance of 490. Cindy account payable credit balance of 490 on May 1st. So it means that we owe and owes Cindy 490. Looking at our options, A says that N owes Cindy 490, which is of course the correct answer as per our calculation. But we will look at other options also. N owes Cindy 700. No. Cindy can't owe because Cindy is accounts payable. Cindy owes N 700. No. So correct option is option A. Number 6 is goods bought on credit by Tumalo from Tobago are returned before they are paid for. Tumalo keeps a full double entry system. Where will Tumalo record the return of the goods? Now, you are Tumalo in this question and you have bought the goods which are now being returned. For you, it's purchases return. The double entry to record purchases return is accounts payable is debited and purchases returns are credited. Now, all accounts payable are kept in purchases ledger. So, purchases ledger is involved and purchases return account is kept in general ledger. So, general ledger is also involved, right? So, general ledger and purchases ledger together, it's part of option C. So, option C is the correct answer. Now, let's see why A, B, or D are not correct. A says cash book and sales ledger. No, because first of all, it has got nothing to do with accounts receivable. Sales ledger has accounts receivable. And since no cash payment is involved, cash book is not required here. General ledger only, no, because we need purchases ledger too. D has only purchases ledger, so that can't be the answer. So correct answer is option C. Question number 7 is Dave supplies goods to Peter on credit. On 1st April, Peter owed Dave 440 and Dave sent or received the following documents in April. Invoice, check after deducting $11 cash discount. So please remember the value of check is 429 and 11 is discount which has already been deducted. Debit note 50 and credit note 50. Please remember debit note and credit note here, they reflect the same transaction. So you don't need to repeat it, right? Because accounts receivable will of course send the debit note and then that debit note will be answered by a credit note sent by the supplier. So 50, these two 50s, they actually show the same transaction. What was the closing balance on statement of account on 30th April? A statement of account, as you all know, that issued by the business to accounts receivable at the end of the period to have the detail of all the transaction which has taken place during the period between the business and accounts receivable. So to attempt this question, again, the approach should be do it with the help of a T account. So we are Dave in this question. Peter is our accounts receivable. We show the opening balance of 490 on the debit side. Then the value of the invoice 360. It means sales debited as sales credited and accounts receivable Peter debit. We have received this check. So bank debit and Peter credit with 429. The value of discount is discount allowed for us. So discount allowed is debited and Peter account is credited. We receive a debit note from Peter and we acknowledge it by sending a credit note worth 50. So sales return are debited and Peter's account is credited. Now closing balance is, since the debit side is heavier, it has 850 balance and the balancing figure required on the credit side is 310. So this account has closing balance of 310. So the correct option is option B, 310. Number 8 is a business sold goods with a list price of 50 each. The terms of trade were trade discount for more than 20 items bought 10% and cash discount if customer pays within 30 days 4%. How much was received in full settlement from a customer who bought 25 items and paid after 35 days? Now, since the payment is being made after 35 days, there is going to be no cash discount. So we are left with only the list price and trade discount. At this point, you must remember the difference between list price and net price. List price is the one before trade discount. So we subtract trade discount of 10%, 10% of 50 per item, so $5. Trade discount is subtracted and we are left with net price of $45 each unit. We are buying 25 items, so the net price of 25 items will be 25 into 45, which is 1125. As the payment is being made after 35 days, I have already told you there is going to be no role of cash discount. Number 9 is Paul rents premises from John and pays the rent by credit transfer. How would John record this? So, we are John in this case, and for us, it's rent receivable. Rent receivable being an income should be credited, and since we are receiving it through credit transfer, so we are receiving it in our bank account, bank will be debited. So, correct option bank debit and rent receivable credit. Option A. So here we have discussed MCQ 1 till 9 of June 2020 paper 1. The rest of the MCQs we'll discuss in our next video inshallah. Thank you so very much. Hope everybody finds this useful. Please remember me and my loved ones in your prayers. Stay blessed.